war, the timeless circus act humanity never gets bored with. Today's feature, the Israel-Palestine tragedy, a never-ending saga soaked in religion, blood, betrayal, and billion-dollar hypocrisy. So buckle the hell up, let's rewind. Before hashtags and airstrikes, before iron domes and ceasefires, there was land, Ottoman Palestine. Arabs lived there, Jews had ancient ties to it, but were scattered like dust after the Romans nuked Jerusalem in 70 AD. Fast forward a few empires and colonial wet dreams later, and we get to the 1900s, where Europe decides to cosplay as God. In 1947 Balfour Declaration, Britain tells the Jews, hey, you can have Palestine. Meanwhile, they're whispering sweet promises of freedom to Arabs, double-crossing 101, classic imperial chaos. Then 1917 hits. The UN draws up a partition plan like it's slicing pizza. Jews get 56% of the land, despite being just a third of the population. Arabs, 44%, and a big middle finger. Shockingly, the Arab world says, screw that. War breaks out. Israel declared independence in 1948. Arab armies attack. Israel wins. But over 700,000 Palestinians displaced, ethnically cleansed. It's called the Nakba, Arabic word for catastrophe. And oh, it was. Gaza ends up with Egypt. West Bank with Jordan. But Palestinians, nowhere to go. No state, no rights. Just rage. Deep generational rage. Then comes 1967, the Six-Day War. Israel humiliates Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, gains Gaza, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, Sinai, and the Golan Heights. Just takes it all. Occupation mode on. Then came the settlements. Armed Israeli compounds inside Palestinian territory. Colonialism is wearing a startup hoodie. Palestinians begin to push back. The first Intifada in 1987, uprising, stones, protests, Molotov cocktails. Israel answers with bullets and batons. Then the peace charade begins. Oslo Accords in the 90s. Handshakes, press conferences, fake optimism. But behind the scenes, more settlements, more fences. The peace as dead as the promises that birthed it. Then the second Intifada, 2000. Suicide, bombings, military crackdowns, urban warfare, thousands die, trust evaporates. Whatever peace was left gets buried under rubble and funeral processions. Enter Hamas 2006, militant Islamist ruthless. Wins the Gaza elections, Fatah gets booted. Israel and Egypt respond with a full-blown blockade. Welcome to Gaza, the world's most crowded open-air prison. 2.2 million people trapped, electricity, maybe 6 hours a day, water contaminated, jobs 45% unemployed, movement zero. When Hamas launches rockets, Israel drops airstrikes. And who dies most? Civilians, schools bombed, hospitals flattened, UN shelters hit, children buried under debris. Then the world posts a hashtag, lights up a landmark in blue and white, or red, black, white, and green, and moves on. In 2008, it was war. 2012, war. 2014, war. 2021, war. And now 2023, October 7th. Hamas breaches into Israel. Civilians slaughtered, hostages taken, the worst attack in decades. And Israel unleashes hell. Gaza turned into a graveyard, apartment blocks reduced to dust, children's bodies lined up in morgues that ran out of space. It's war, sure, but not a fair fight. One side backed by nukes, tanks, and unlimited American money. The other trapped, starving, divided, armed with desperation. The West Bank's no picnic either. Settler violence spikes. Israeli military raids ramp up. Palestinians arrested without trial. Checkpoints strangle daily life. Democracy? Only if your ID says you're worthy. And the hypocrisy? Chef's kiss? The West screams about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but when Israel levels refugee camps, nobody bats an eye. It's simply justifications wrapped in press releases. Dare criticize Israel and the label comes out anti-Semitic. even if you're Jewish, even if you're just documenting war crimes. But somehow hating Hamas is mandatory and acknowledging Gaza's suffering? Optional. Let's be clear, this isn't about picking sides. You can despise Hamas and still recognize that Gaza's been turned into a slaughterhouse. You can support Israel's right to exist and still call out apartheid, occupation, and collective punishment. These are not contradictions, these are facts. And yet, Palestinians remain stateless, stripped of rights, trapped between extremist militias and a military juggernaut, between a corrupt leadership and a world that uses their suffering as a talking point. This isn't a conflict, it's not a feud between equals, it's systemic. One side rules the skies, the other digs tunnels, one controls water, electricity, airspace, the other bleeds, but the world keeps pretending it's complicated. It's not. It's brutal. It's clear. And it's on repeat. Land for blood, rockets for power, death for attention, and peace. That's just a buzzword politicians vomit when the cameras roll. Midnight wisdom. No sides, no spin, just a spotlight on the ugly truth no one wants to look at. Because sometimes the truth is filthier than the war itself.